Hey Woody.
Hi Warwick. Go to Tigers.
Go to Tigers. Are you interested in supporting our bum team for another year even though we haven't played finals in almost a decade?
I would. Tigers.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport, onelittlefootyfan.com.au and the Stubby Club. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Two things. Number one, I missed you last week, Terry.
I missed you too.
And number two, I'm sick of your voice. Keep quiet. I'm running the news this week. Let's kick off with the big news. The huge news. If you stop interrupting me, I'll tell you. Due to the Women's FIFA World Cup next year, a host of NRL venues are unavailable, which, begs the question, who cares? Shark Park is free.
Shark Park is free. I've seen people today mentioning there should be a whole heap of games at Shark Park. Manly, look, theoretically it's not going to happen. They'll just play around it.
Of course they will. Bankwest Stadium, or Combank as it's known now, isn't being used for the World Cup.
I've got an idea. I've actually got an idea on how you can solve this.
Go on.
During the 4 weeks that World Cup's on, play Origin. I don't care if it's early or late, just play Origin.
It could look completely fair. You could play them in the bush.
Yeah.
You could look the SCG, Combank. The Dragons have got Wollongong Stadium. The Sharks will probably play home games for the duration of that time. It's not a big deal. I don't know why we're making it a big deal. Accor Stadium, Allianz Stadium, don't need them.
No, we don't. There's so many stadiums around there. Take some games to Perth.
Spot on.
Get into Adelaide. Play more games in New Zealand.
There are so many options. I saw people blowing up all day today. It's been a quiet off-season by rugby league standards. So they're looking for something to blow up about.
Let's have 2 Magic Rounds this year. Let's play one in Brisbane and then during this, take one to Fiji.
Love it.
They deserve it. And then take another one to Papua New Guinea.
We've just fixed it. You can make the check out to Terry and Dan at Rugby League Outlaws.
More Terry. I'll take 70%.
More Terry.
What's next? What do you got for us, Dan?
NRLW. Season set to kick off next year. 4 teams expanded. 15, 16 games. I don't know because they don't know yet.
Yeah, don't know where they're playing, don't know when they're starting, don't know when they can recruit, don't know what the salary cap is.
So you got the Sharks that have come in, blank checkbook, plenty of players off contract, waiting to see, the Tigers and stuff. Well, not the Tigers, but the other teams, the good teams, come in and say, hey, we can recruit you, except they can't because they don't know, anything.
Well, it's the same as the men. They don't know what the salary cap is for next season.
So when's it's going to start?
Which is why we haven't announced the signing of Wade Graham, because we don't know how much of the cap that he gets for the long-serving player.
Pretty ridiculous.
It is. You got, technically the preseason starts in next week.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty ridiculous. Now, I know everything's sort of pushed back because of the World Cup, which we'll discuss later in great detail. Amateur hour. They talk about wanting to make the women's game equal with the men's. Let's give them a start date and a salary cap and get some players signed, You got
to give the men a salary cap as well, though, Dan. It's an absolute joke. Has the draw been released?
No, it hasn't, because they just realised this week there's a Harry Styles concert in round 1 that'll mess up a couple of games. And the FIFA World Cup that was announced, 20 years ago.
There's also an Ed Sheeran concert in the middle of March on a Friday night that's going to put him into disarray.
And they've come out and gone,
fantastic.
We've got to work on the draw. Peter V'landys, time to step down. It's time for us to take over.
It's time for the Outlaws to run Rugby League.
Speaking of running Rugby League, a decision I hate. Kalen Ponga is going to move back to the 6 next year for the Newcastle Knights.
I like it.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, you didn't see it coming. He's not real good on the kick returns because of his slight frame, and the Knights don't have enough creativity to open the game for him playing fullback, but he's got enough creativity to open the game for someone else. Now, this is only a good move if they land Ruben Garrick, or they land a decent fullback.
A fullback, absolutely.
Or something else that we're going to talk about next. So let's just combine this into one. They pay Dominic Young and they play him at fullback. The fact that they're allowing Dominic Young to go into the open market is absolutely ridiculous.
Great for Dominic Young, who went into the World Cup as a debutant and a relative unknown in international terms, and arguably the player of the tournament. You look at the tries he scored. Okay, opposition hasn't been great. Bar Samoa, of course, played really well against them. This guy's a superstar. All year, you could just see he was just ready to go to that next stretch. Played really well against Cronulla, when no one else seemed to care. Goes to the World Cup superstar. He can come out and say, hey, boys, add an extra 0.
Yeah, absolutely. Double it. Double his contract now. He is a fantastic player. He's an entertainer. He's a finisher. He's 6'6".
He's a monster.
He's so quick. You know, this Ponga move only works if they get a Garrick or they're willing to take the punt on Dominic Young. But if Newcastle allow this talent to walk to a better club, you might as well just fold him.
Let's just fold him anyway.
It's hard enough for Newcastle to attract superstars, but when you create one and then you let them walk because you were so short-sighted. Now, fair enough, could be Dominic Young's representatives that said, well, let's just wait until the World Cup. The fact that the Knights allowed that to happen now, as you said,
his last month was tremendous.
Well, the opposition hasn't been great because they smacked the lights out of Samoa as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's Newcastle. It's a great play if they make the right moves around Ponga. But if you're just going to stick Adam Clune with him and him there and Tex Hoy at fullback, it's
Write him off. Again, the Tigers have come out and said Luke Brooks isn't going to Newcastle. This time 3 weeks ago, it was done and dusted. Now, there's a report come out earlier today, and I had to double check this to see if it was true. Adam Dewey and Jackson Hastings are both off contract.
Yep.
Neither have been offered a contract before the deadline, which is, as we're recording, tonight. Luke Brooks is off contract also, and they've pretty much said, well, he needs to play this year and then go to Newcastle. What are they doing? Have they got to keep one of the three? Now, it's not Luke Brooks. I think Hastings and Dewey have to start round one as 5'8" and halfback. Not a great, but it's better than the alternative.
I mean, you've got 3 bottom-of-the-barrel halves right there. It doesn't matter whoever you pick. It's not great. I mean, you're basically coming out and saying that Luke Brooks is going to play one more year before he goes to Newcastle, meaning he doesn't have a future at the Tigers. Why waste another year?
Move him on.
Why waste another year?
He's on like $1 million next year.
And you've got a team that stupidly wants him.
Yeah, if he comes out and plays badly, as I fully expect him to do, Newcastle might go, actually, so-and-so's off contract, we'll nab him now.
Yeah.
I do not know what either of these clubs are doing.
Well, the thing is, a couple of weeks ago, the Knights had interest in Braden Trindle, and that was to put pressure on Brooks, and then it looked like it was going to happen. It wouldn't surprise me if the Knights just went, Luke Brooks, okay, you've had 2 years, you haven't pushed.
Yeah.
We're going to go and get Trindle.
Trindle's got a good upside, you know.
He's not Luke Brooks.
It's a great upside. And he's going to cost about $800,000 less. So, I mean, if Newcastle are going to make a good decision for the first time in a long time...
It's not Luke Brooks.
It's not. Bad teams just keep getting worse. It's an embarrassment for rugby league, quite frankly.
It's funny, though. What does Woody think about it?
Oh, he's over there. Hold on.
What do you think about it, Woody?
Go the Tigers.
Would you re-sign Adam Dewey?
I would.
Would you re-sign Jackson Hastings?
No.
Would you re-sign Luke Brooks?
Absolutely not.
Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Dan.
Talk to me, Terry.
I'm sick of your voice.
Fair.
It's time for some World Cup. Let's talk the Poms.
Let's.
It's not only the Poms we're going to talk about, though. This round of rugby league was all about blowouts.
Blowout Central. We've seen it in the NRL too, so I don't know.
If you picked all the favourites this week and put $1,000 on it, you would have made 72 cents.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
There wasn't many games that could have gone either way, in all honesty.
No, now the blowouts, are they good for rugby league? Look, personally, the competition starts now, and you know that. The Rugby Union World Cup a couple of years ago, South Africa beat Namibia by 102 points. It happens.
It does happen. We've seen in the T20 World Cup that's running, right now. They had a play-in to get in, so you get the top of the lesser squads. Rugby league's not at that.
No.
That's set yet. Now, I do... Look, the blowouts aren't good for rugby league, but I've seen so many people come in and go, I don't care about the World Cup, blah, blah, blah. One, why are you talking about it? And two, shut up. The blowouts are going to be part of this game until those sides can attract players to come in and play professionally. How do you do that? You put them in front. You put them, the tears for the anthems. You get the big fans. We saw the Jamaican fans in their thousands come in and score. I think they scored 2 or 3 tries this time. That's great. Greece scored their first ever try, and there
was a shark that scored it.
Well, just goes without saying. But that exposure leads to kids saying, you know what? Dad, Mum, I want to play rugby league.
And even still, like, and let's talk about Lebanon, who have qualified for the quarterfinals. I didn't think they would do it, but you've got a guy like Mitch Moses who didn't play for Australia. If you don't have these second-tier nations in there, Mitch doesn't get the opportunity to show what he can do, and he's dragged that team on his back. He's been fantastic.
100%. You tell me there's not one kid in Lebanon who's now going, I want a Mitch Moses jersey for Christmas. Of course there is. And that one kid might be the next Mitch Moses. You never know. Like, it's so short-sighted.
And the Jamaican prop scored a try. They're down like 80-0, scores a try, and they get up and celebrated like they won the World Cup. Right? Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't watched any of the blowout games this round because you could just pick what was going to happen. Yeah. You pick every game 13 plus, you won. Yeah. But congratulations to Greece, Jamaica, Italy, Ireland, these squads, the Cook Islands, for making it to the World Cup and getting the chance to just play.
Absolutely right.
You know, Brad Takarangi retires and he goes out playing halfback for the Cook Islands. Like,
different.
Yeah, what a story that is there. You know, Greece, Lachlan Ilias has his debut year for South Sydney, goes and plays in the World Cup. You do need it. It's unfortunate these scorelines happen, but this is where... And I read something really well from a journalist that you don't actually like, Dan, but he turned around and said maybe the squads should be 40-man squads for the tier ones, and when they play these guys, they should only be able to, you know, it should be under 23s players who play.
There's some ideas, but I mean, it's short-sighted to think, it's a blowout, so let's rubbish it. Cool, let's just put every team that got blew out this week in the too hard pile, and let's just play a Four Nations every single year. It's just... I know, look, it's negative, you know, there's things, there's, you know, suggestions. I don't know if I particularly like that one, but there's ways to do it. You can make pools of, you know, the three teams play off against each other as warm-up games and they play and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. It's, you know, long-term, it's fantastic for the game, and I guarantee you we will see a superstar in a few years' time emerge from one of these nations, and they'll say, it's because I saw Mitch Moses, it's because I saw Lachlan Ilias. Let's give it a shot, you know. Okay, blowouts, but they're done now. Now you got 8 very real teams. There'll probably be 2 blowouts this week. But then, you know, you got the top 4 teams. And I guarantee you at least one of these games this week is not going to be, so-and-so by 13 plus.
We'll see how we tip.
Yeah, we will.
Now, the big one for Australia is DCE versus Cleary. Melbourne has come out and said, maybe we've got to play them both. You're an idiot.
Incorrect, Mal. Again... Michael Hagan I should say, not Mal Meninga, because we know who makes the decisions there. No, you don't play them both. You pick one, you put him next to Munster, you put Harry Grant at 9, or Ben Hunt at 9, and the other one on the bench. Done.
Yeah, look, for mine, I'm throwing a massive call out here, but I think Mal's going to go with DCE and he's just going to go with the Queensland spine Bar Tedesco.
Completely fair, as he probably should. He and Munster have how many games together?
And
compared to 1?
Yeah, and they won
No.
They won the Origin.
Didn't happen.
It did.
I don't remember that at all.
I do.
Shut up. Nathan Cleary for mine?
Yeah, look, if I'm picking the squad, it's Cleary. But, you know, obviously because I want England to win, I hope they pick DCE.
Well, there you go. Completely fair. But Harry Grant has to be there, so does Ben Hunt.
Yeah. Ben Hunt's going to start. You just run it like Origin.
Yeah.
So if you're going to run it like Origin, DCE's going to play.
Completely fair. There's no wrong answer there except playing both of them.
So, Dan?
Yes.
It's time for some top sport tips.
Yes, it certainly is. Some more Cup Edition top sport tips. We just bagged Mal Meninga, you know, the coach of the greatest rugby league team in the world, saying that he didn't know what he's talking about. So now it's time to put up, or shut up, Terry.
Well,
No, shut up, Terry.
Okay.
First game, Australia and Lebanon. This may be a blowout.
This will be a blowout. Let's not sugarcoat it in any way. Is Adam Dewey back from abusing the referee yet?
He is, yes.
Okay.
He had served the 1 game suspension. How's his halves battle? You know, DCE and Munster versus Mitch Moses and Adam Dewey.
And Adam Dewey, yeah.
That's pretty good.
And it's just the fact that Australia have got all the stars. And look, but some great players emerging from Lebanon.
Yeah.
Kikaz playing at fullback has been sensational. And then the young Bulldogs halfback who came on when Mitch Moses went off on the weekend, he played so well. You know, this
is a shock on the cards.
No.
Yeah, I agree with that.
This is going to be 13 plus Australia, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun. And I think, Mitch Moses being there is the difference between them getting truly blown out and probably just getting beaten by a better side.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. I think Australia will win and win comfortably, but I hope Lebanon score a try or two. Hope they're right in it for at least the opening try.
And I'm telling you, we said it, the Charbel Tassapale, Eliel Jarkim, those guys, they're looking for contracts. They're going to stick it to the Aussies. I reckon they'll be competitive for about half an hour.
Yeah, completely fair.
And then the game's over.
Which is fine.
Which is all you can
to
ask
get to the
for.
quarterfinal is a pass mark for Lebanon. Great stuff. Next game though, is a big one for mine. The Kiwis and the Fijians.
13 plus Kiwis.
Look, probably yeah, but in terms of the pre-game, 10 out of 10.
Pre-game, this is going to be fun.
And I think this will start fire.
Yeah. Full time, it's going to be great to see all the guys in the prayer circle hugging each other after the Kiwis win 62-0.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be quite that bad. I think you're looking
bad.
I think you'll be looking at the 40 to 18 margin. Yeah, look, they're a much better side. Let's be fair.
Be bad.
But Fiji have some very, very good players. Look,
it'll be bad.
I'm trying to make it positive, but yes, it probably will be bad. Speaking of bad, England versus whoever, don't care, they're going to lose.
England playing PNG.
Oh, go New Guinea.
Yeah, you can go New Guinea all you want. You went Samoa and England won
that went well.
by 54. So, look, again, another blowout for mine. I'm taking this one 13 plus.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think England are playing much better than anyone expected. I know the opposition hasn't been great since round one. I still maintain Samoa a very good side. Yeah, England at home been very good. Geez, they've got some stars that no one really knew about.
You're absolutely right. Look, and I think, again, that just because of what's been happening in the Super League, every year there's less and less money. Some of the guys are coming out to Australia now just for the opportunity for coaching. Yeah. But there is plenty of talent out there. Jack Walsby is the one. He's got to be in Australia in the next 2 years. For mine, England though, they're going to punish Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. It'll be a fun game.
It will be fun. This will be one of those games where they feel it the next morning.
Yeah.
Speaking of feeling it, Terry,
This is the game.
I feel it in my plums.
Now, Tonga and Samoa, this is going to be huge. And what's scary for mine is the Samoan team, after copping that hiding, they're switched on.
Yeah,
they want to win this game to get a crack back at England.
Yeah, look, they definitely do. Tonga probably haven't hit top gear. I mean, don't get me wrong, they played very well.
They scored 90 points the other day.
But, I mean, against Cook Islands, they never really got out of first gear, and it did come down to a late lucky try. Now, the Cook Islands, I think they're better than what their result last up showed. So I'm, not really looking at that. Plus, that first game's sort of almost a warm-up to get in. This game, though, this is the game of the tournament. This is the one we all wanted. This is why I wish
This is the World Cup final.
It is. Don't worry about the big three. This is the game that I wish could be hosted in New Zealand or Australia because the crowds. Oh, my, the crowds. Who you tipping, though?
I'm going to go the upset. I'm going to go Samoa.
I think Tonga have a slightly better side. Now, I know earlier in the year I said Samoa were the better side. I take it back purely because you went Samoa and I want to be different. Go Tonga.
Yeah, I just think now Jerome Luai has taken that flogging from England personal, and they want to crack back at England. I think they've just got a bit more to play for. Tonga have been there before. They could probably get complacent reading to their own hype. I'm going to pick Samoa 1-12, and it's going to come down to a field goal.
Yep, I'll go Tonga by 6. I think a late trial ice it, but this game. Yo, beauty! Terry.
Talk to me, Dan.
Time to talk some black, white and blue. It's been a couple of weeks. Had a few interesting developments.
Yeah, not much has happened in the way of the Sharks off-season, which is kind of good.
Which is kind of great. I'm not used to it. There's usually something going on.
No scandal, no shenanigans.
Touch wood.
Leave Woody alone.
I'm sorry. Some unfortunate news, though, that we all saw coming was the retirement of Andrew Fifita. Talk to me. What a man.
I'm glad he's not playing against us next year. I don't think I would have been able to take that.
Selfishly, I agree.
Like, if you said to me Wade Graham was going to go and sign with the Rabbitohs, I'm okay with it. But if you said to me that Andrew Fifita was going to sign for the Rabbitohs, I'd be shattered, right? You're talking about a top 5 Shark of all time, the guy who gave us the single greatest moment of our life, Sharks wise. Probably.
Life.
Yeah, I'm reading the list of injuries that he had just to play on this year and all the surgeries he would have needed. Mate, you've done the right thing. You only get one body.
You do. Considering look, he was going to walk into a minimum contract, let's be totally honest. I think he's made the right decision. I congratulate him. He's shark for life as far as I'm concerned. Let's get him in a job. Create one.
Yep.
Get him involved. Get him around the club. Get him around the players.
He wanted to go to Manly or the Bulldogs and do, the senior player, be around all the juniors. Just come and do it for us without playing.
Yes,
run the water.
Yep.
Although maybe don't run, so you don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad shout. Walk the water.
Yeah, but be there,
Yeah.
You are a shark for life. He should never have to pay for a beer, coffee, his breakfast, whatever, in the Shire. And if I ever see him open his wallet, I'll probably just be like, well, they should give him a refund. I ain't going to go and pay for it.
Yeah, exactly right. Someone definitely should.
Yeah, Rich Ossington, he can do it.
It sucks, but it's also the right decision. Yeah, exactly. Now,
the game's gone past him.
It certainly has. I mean, he's, it's not like he played a couple of games of fullback, or a couple of games on the wing. This is a guy who was in everything for years in a pretty ordinary Cronulla side. Then he dragged to become a very, very good Cronulla side. So, congrats to Fifita. We love him. I wrote him off last year. I'm going to be totally honest. He spent the whole year force feeding me crow. I absolutely love it. Glad he got to go out on relatively his own terms. Let's create a role. There's talks that there's an Indigenous role. Now, you want to talk about blokes that have turned their life around. Andrew Fifita's a poster child. Every weekend you almost pick up the papers and you're struggling. What's Fifita done this week? Now it's all
What's
good news.
Fifita done this week?
So I'm really excited for the future there. I think, it's great news. In a way, a shame in another, but what a man, what a man.
I'm just glad that we don't have to put a backdrop here of him in a jersey.
Yeah,
it's not
of
black,
another
white, and blue.
club.
So thank you, Fifita. Now, Wade Graham, still unsigned.
What to do with Wade Graham?
Well, he's gonna take 1 year. The problem is we don't know what the cap is, and Wade Graham is our long-serving player, so he gets the percentage of the cap free.
Yeah.
But we don't know what that is yet, so we can't give him a contract and can't pay him. So once the NRL announces the cap, Wade Graham will be signed, and then we have 2 roster spots. We've got our eye on one player, but it's just going to be cap and what we can do next year.
Yeah, he's going to have to re-sign. Wade Graham's earned the right to go out on his own terms. If that's 1 extra year, again, I want to reiterate, I don't think he makes the 17 next year, or if he does, maybe plays off the bench, plays a 20-minute hitman role. If his body's up to it, that's good. Wade Graham being there is better than him not, but it cannot stunt the growth of Teague Wilton anymore. No. We got 3 superstar, 2 potentially, and 1, on his day in Okora that can be a superstar in the back row. Talakai and Wilton, there are 3. Every decision has to be made to the betterment of those 3. And, if Wade fits in there, very, very good. Otherwise, he can be 18th man every week. Yeah. But, he's got to be around the club too. He's another bloke we need to sign.
It'd be pretty ironic if Wade Graham was our concussion sub, though, Dan.
Yeah, considering his history.
Yeah.
But, that's good. Another player who's turned his life around.
Yeah. 18th man, being, he can still be our captain, be a match day captain.
Yeah, yep.
But he doesn't have to be the captain on the field.
No, not
it's
when
got to go to Nico.
Yeah, well, Nico, Finucane,
Nico.
Rayleigh, your favourite player. It's got to be Nico. But you mentioned 2 spots left because one of them has been taken by someone who's not going to change that expression. Your mate Hiroti, re-signed.
Yeah, look, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. It's not like, okay, so I'm going to go on record.
He's not going to be there in round 1.
I'm going to go on record as saying if he plays much first grade, we're in a bit of trouble. Injuries happen, and he played really well for Newtown. I wish he played that prelim. I'd been on record as saying that. I want to go on again.
He's too good for New South Wales Cup. He's not good enough for the NRL. Although, in saying that, he's a walk-up for the Tigers.
Yeah, he makes that team probably across the back line, to be honest. But a full-strength Cronulla doesn't have him. He plays for Newtown. He does really well. Good on him. I don't begrudge him the spot. The player that I had earmarked, Jensen, last name very difficult to say, we haven't taken up his option.
So my understanding is if Matty Kavalu was fit and healthy, we take up Jensen's option and Hiroti walks. But without Ikavalu there for probably the whole season with that horrific knee injury, we just needed to have someone who... Now, You talk around and turn around and say someone who's played and been around the traps. Roddy's 23.
Yeah, it feels like he's been around for 20 years.
Yeah. It's been a long 4 years for us fans.
Cronulla got a lot of potential superstars, in Stone Street, Lua. Ero's obviously the next one off.
And Satili Torkamo.
But these aren't guys you can throw all in and go, oh, cool.
Yeah.
These are future superstars, but not boasting and say, oh, you're marking Mike Seaver tonight, good luck,
Yeah. It was like when we gave Ronnie the debut against an informed Xavier coach.
It didn't work. So, look, we've learned from our mistakes. And, ultimately,
and we've got a
it's
better
good.
coach as well.
But November 1st, by the time this comes out, it'll be November 1st, I expect 50 signings.
Yeah. I mean, it's really weird going into the season and our only recruit is Oregon Kafusi. We do have our eyes on another big name forward as well, and then they want a utility player. But, just got to see what happens.
Hey, look, we do. And next year, plenty of players come off contract in a few hours' time. I don't expect Cronulla to be anywhere in the talk for the next few weeks, nor should we, because I loathe where you sign a player 12 months and 18 months out, and then they go and do a hamstring the next couple of weeks.
But we did it for Oregon Kafusi.
Well, there you go. It worked out once. That was a good signing, actually. But I wouldn't get too excited, guys. I think our cap's pretty full, and I think, but with the players on contract, hard not to get excited.
Hey, well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by Puncture Media, our good friends at Top Sport, onelittlefootyfan.com.au, and the Stubby Club. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Get some merchandise off of all of them,
Please.
Yeah.
We got something that I haven't told you about. That's going to be very exciting very soon.
Perfect. I'm really looking forward to it. Don't forget to trash Dan and I in the comments. Dan, who we got?
Now, I think we could auction this off for $100,000. If we sign it, $200,000. Rugby league, baby.